Alright, this is going to be a quick walkthrough of the truck. 2002 Tacoma, extra cab, 6-foot bed. It's got a manual 5-speed, and of course the 3.4 liter V6. And this one has just been broken in at 440,000 miles, and it runs absolutely amazing. This truck is truly so good, and figured I would do this quick walk around of the truck and the camper, because when I was more on social media and stuff, I would get asked about this thing constantly. And you know, it is going to be sold or up for sale pretty soon. We are reluctant to sell it, but we just need something a little different for just what we need now. But we're gonna be pretty sad to see this thing go, because it is such a damn good truck. Over 20 years old, well maintained. I got this from a friend. Thank you, Adam, for selling this thing to us. It's been a great truck. And yeah, we'll do just a little walk around of how we have it set up, because we get asked a lot of questions, and I do think it is a pretty good system. We'll start up here at the front. Pretty dang standard up here. Usually, most of the time camping, it's me, my wife, dog usually in the back. We have a pretty decent sized dog, maybe 60-70 pound dog, and he fits back there pretty well. I know it looks super tight, but he's got all his pillows and blankets and bed and everything, and he fits back there great. As mentioned, does have a 5-speed manual transmission, and other than that, I mean, the replaced head unit, but everything else pretty standard in the front. Behind the driver's seat, usually I'll keep my camera stuff, and then the just battery system, pretty straightforward Bluetti battery. We really don't use any power when camping. I don't think we charged it for the first 3 years we even owned that thing. 2 years we owned that thing. But you'll see here, this winter we have started using some electricity while camping. Yeah, as I said, 6-foot bed, and it has a camper, if you couldn't tell. This camper is custom built by a company called Bel Air Campers. They're in like Garden Grove area, outside LA. This was made for my 85 pickup, 6-foot 1985 extra cab pickup that I no longer have either. But this camper was built for that. It has a pretty good cab over section. They do it custom, so you can have more of a cab over section, have it come out further if you really want. They really try to talk us into having it taller and bigger in every direction, but I think we picked basically the smallest size they have, and it's absolutely perfect. All the sides open up, which I'd say is pretty essential on a camper like this. That way we can access all our stuff without having to climb through everything. Right now, the bed is obviously made. When we're driving, all this bedding is kept up top there, and things like clothes bags come down here so we can access them during the day. And with this bedding up, we have one small section here that is removable, and that allows us to fit taller items like a cooler, water jug, things that would be taller than the bed platform is. And of course, we don't want really that stuff sitting on top of the bed platform. But because of that cutout, I think is really what makes this camper design so good. Because one, with this section removed, it's just a small section up to about there. you can actually reach stuff that's back under here. You don't have to have a huge drawer slide. When I first built it on the other truck, I first built a giant drawer, but just the weight of that alone and the complexity of it is not worth it at all. And this is so much better now with that removable piece. You can reach back there with it removed, grab your gear out, and then put the bed together as it is here. So I'll show you here. The bed size is about a queen size bed in this little truck, and it's got plenty of headroom, so you can actually sit up inside and hang out without having the top of the camper. If it's a regular cab height camper, you're only a couple inches from that, but this gives you a whole nother foot or more. It has a couple lights and a Dometic fan, all 12 volt stuff, of course. It uses hardly any power. The whole camper lights and the fan, I have wired to a cigarette lighter plug that just gets plugged into that battery that's back there. So when we get to camp and we do want to run lights, you can just power that on. Really, we don't use too much electricity, although as I mentioned, this trip and this winter, it's been pretty cold. So we are bougie now, and we've got a heated blanket. Right now it's really nice. I'm just in a t-shirt, but in a little bit here, I'm sure it'll get pretty cold. It's supposed to be around freezing tonight, maybe below freezing, so that'll help. But anyways, back to the camper design. We have it pretty basic. No moving parts, no nothing. Everything is kept in their own bins. Kitchen bin. This is just straight pass through all the way back. A coffee bag there, coffee kit. Up front here to access this stuff, there's also pass-throughs. This is stuff we don't really get to very much. Extra stove fuel, a awning for rainy days. Over here on this side, same thing. Here's the pass-through. Move that. And this is all first aid, recovery straps and stuff, and a bunch of spare parts and just bigger repair and stuff we hopefully don't need but should have, is all kept there. Big wrenches, breaker bars, some extra parts, that kind of stuff is all stored up in that front corner. Down here we'll keep kind of the bigger, bulkier things, camp chair and some other bins, food, stove, and then the cooler, which I'll show will fit with the centerpiece removed here. You can sit the cooler here and the water jug. You can still open it and access it during the day, and it's not a whole 15 inches higher than the bed height, bouncing around on there all day. Other than that, not much to it. Super simple. It fits the two of us, a dog, and 2 bikes. All of our stuff, everything weighed out. I've taken it to truck scales, and even with all this added weight, it's still well below the vehicle weight rating on how much it can carry with full fuel, water, everything, everyone's food, which is pretty important to me at least. I like to keep the trucks as light as possible, and I know this is nowhere near as light as possible, but in terms of having a camper that's comfortable to be inside, it's pretty light, I'd say, for the price, I guess, without having like a 3 times as expensive camper like a pop top. What else? Another thing we really designed the camper for, and having a truck specifically, a truck can just go anywhere, even an absolutely stock truck like this with stock tire size, stock gearing, some added suspension, but not in the way that's no longer stock, I'd say. Well, you know what I mean. This thing will basically go anywhere I need it to go, way more so than any van. You could put $150,000 into a van to make it four-wheel drive, and this stock truck will get there much easier every single time. And the camper design does two things. It makes it, one, comfortable to sleep. We've slept in here in rain and wind and everything, and it's always comfortable to sleep in. But it's not so big that we are in there during the day. I don't want to cook inside my camper. I don't want to hang out inside there unless I really absolutely have to. I just want it to be a comfortable place to sleep and store our gear. And then I want to do everything else outside of the camper. I want to cook my food outside, right here, and be outside of the walls of any camper or van or anything as much as possible. And I think this camper does the perfect job at that. Anyways, that's pretty much it, and I guess a little bit of the philosophy behind it. If you're interested in buying it, shoot me a comment or email or whatever. But that's it. And boom, this is what it's like when it's in kind of chill mode, whatever, driving mode. This is how it will be. Cooler will pop here with a big water can here, so it can fit above the bed height. But that also allows you to just sit in here. I'm 6'1" and I can fit with my head not touching. I got about an inch above my head, and I can kind of chill here. If the weather's bad, we can hang out, play games, I don't know, drink, eat food. It also makes it a little bit nicer if you're changing clothes or whatever and you need to kind of stand up in here. Obviously nowhere near fully standing, but at least more than with it just at this height here, and obviously much more than any other regular height truck topper. And then, as mentioned, while driving, all the bedding and just stuff that's very lightweight can stay up top. Leaves all this pretty open during the day, so if we want to reach in and grab like a jacket or something from our clothes bag, this is obviously stuff we're not using during the day. And then again, this piece gets stored right here. When you get to camp, you're ready to make the bed, you just slide it back. Fits on these tracks right here, and there it is. That piece fits from up here. Usually I'll grab this down before I do all this, but there it is. Essentially about a queen size bed.